Hello traders, this is Stacey Burke from Stacey Burke Trading. We're going to review the 1 hour charts today on the Euro USD, the Pound Canadian, the Pound USD, and the Pound Yen for Friday, October 30th, 2015. So, just looking at the Euro USD, and again, just looking at some really simple price action activity on the markets. Straight away we're looking at the end of the US session into the first part of Asia with the euro, and the opening range was fairly tight for that first couple hours. Interesting, as Asia always is, but then into the open of the Europe and London markets, we saw the euro pick up speed and break out in that early part of the session. Now, just looking at from the previous day's session, it's moved quite a bit back against that original fall after the Fed statement release and approaching the 50% level. But that initial breakout pulled back into that small bear, some short covering, and then the bullish trend resumed into the early part of the US session. Traders then were able to find some resistance, and we'll just bring that chart together a little bit because obviously there was selling activity. We're looking at two-sided trading up above that 1065 level, and sure enough, the market found resistance there on Friday night and toppled over back down to close, sort of not too far off of where it opened up, but certainly a very good opportunity for bullish traders into the London market, somewhere in the area probably of at least 50 to 60 pips of tradable activity there. Fairly strong with trend movement and low risk entry, but that initial balance of the Asian market seemed to hold quite strongly. So just looking at some simple stuff there, sellers here were quite strongly stepped into the market, but once that reversed, those sellers then became buyers. And this is a really important thing just to pick up. You want to be looking for an area of where one side has strongly been reversed, and then they obviously could be taking positions in the opposite direction. So in evidence here, we saw a bullish breakout into the Europe session, and we'll just bring that back up again. We saw that bullish reversal, and when sellers came back in, they found support on top of that old bearish candle. So short sellers possibly could have been reversing the position. Again, a fairly low risk entry there. You're looking at about 1 R. And that trade was probably at least 3R return. So good opportunity for bullish traders on the euro, just following through from that Thursday session. Looking at the Pound Canadian, it's been a bit volatile the last few days, and we saw support come in on Wednesday after the Fed statement and around that 201.50 area. And into the Asian session on Friday early on, we saw that level tested and hold a couple of times. And then into the London session, that level definitely held up down low. Buyers came back into the market, and throughout the afternoon ran that market up. But if we bring that chart together again we see two-sided trading. And actually that's, the market found resistance a lot earlier, I think, than it expected to. But if we just bring that back even a bit further, we're looking at the previous week, and there was definitely selling activity above that 265 area. So we've definitely got a range-bound market this last week. Buying occurring below that 150 and selling occurring above the 275, 265 area for the British Pound Canadian. But definitely a great opportunity on Friday for bulls to trap some profits, and sellers strongly came in and drove it back down to the bottom of the range. Just looking at the pound here, Again, just bringing that in from after the Fed announcement. We'll just maybe put a little line in around where the announcement occurred, sort of at that 53.20 area. Thursday we saw some retesting of that level, and then into Asia we sort of went up above into that selling range, but the market found support early into the London Open around the 53.15 range and strongly came back through, and that market ran up throughout the afternoon and early into the US market open. And that market returned a very large movement on Friday, at least 100 pips of movement, and a fairly significant opportunity for bulls. Again, even just looking at a 1 hour return on that. But Asia was fairly tight, found support on top of the previous day's European session and US close, and then strongly broke out and maintained that, closing off just weakly into the end, possibly a bit of profit taking or short covering, but a fantastic move on the British pound USD on Friday afternoon. Pound yen, again, we saw, we'll just bring that in a little bit tighter. The Fed on Wednesday was a fairly bullish response, but it retested that level on Thursday. Going into Friday's open with Asia, just putting a little bit of line where we found two-sided trading on Wednesday and Thursday. Then going into the Friday session, we'll just open this up a bit, sorry about that. The Asian market saw a little bit of volatility into the London Open, but as London opened up, sellers came in fairly strongly for a few hours. But as we approached the US market open, we saw the bulls come back in similar to where they came in on Thursday, and buying occurred quite heavily into the US session. And halfway through we saw some selling occur, again possibly a bit of profit taking, some short covering. Don't see any real evidence of selling on the hourly chart the last few weeks, but definitely selling came in quite strongly up around that 186.75, 186.50 level. So a fairly significant movement on a couple of the pound crosses into the close of the week. As always, traders looking at some really simple price action concepts around the heaviest traded times during the 24-hour market session. Always look to manage your downside, and may the markets go with you. I hope you found this review useful. If you like it, please share it on Facebook. As always, please give me some of your feedback. I've tried to keep these reviews fairly simple. I'm not involving any indicators or any bias. We're just looking at some real simple support and resistance concepts with Asia, London, and the US markets. And obviously in review some of them look quite easy, but in live time it can be a bit challenging. But again, go back to some really simple strategies. I think on all these markets you're always looking at one ATR stop pretty much as a maximum, and you can see if you're buying low and selling high, that's really the largest your stop should be. And any feedback, I really appreciate it. Enjoy your weekend, and may the markets go with you. Hi traders, I hope you found today's video interesting and informative, and I hope it gave you some valuable insights into making your trading simpler and more productive. If you haven't done so already, please come by my blog, StaceyBurkeTrading.com. Sign up for my free audio MP3, the 7-step daily routine for high-performance traders. This is essential knowledge for all traders in all markets, and is designed to help traders to master the market with disciplined confidence and a winning mindset. Please like this or share it on Facebook, and I would love to have some feedback. Any questions or comments, please put below. May the markets go with you, and always trade in your own best interest.